Okay, this is day one. This is the beginning of my talk, Iggy's talk, about schizophrenia being a language. Basically, I'm going to be discussing in a few segments about schizophrenia being a language versus a disease that most of society much rather perceive it as, and I guess on some level that's okay. To the medical profession, you know, that's what's needed. From a religious point of view, it has to do with demonic ideas, demonic concepts, the devil, things of that nature. But I'm trying my best to put more of a positive spin to it. And in doing so, I wrote a manuscript called Schizophrenia the Language. And I've been testing it out on a few people, and I've been getting some good reviews, and some other people that don't respond, and that's okay. But you know, I'm still plugging away at it, and it's still a work in progress. And basically what I'm asking, or trying to point out in the manuscript, is whether or not schizophrenia could be a language. Now, to tell a little bit about myself, I'm known in the mental health field as a certified recovery peer specialist. And in the manuscript, and from my background in mental health as a peer specialist, I plan to provide an important point of view on genetic theories and research regarding spirituality, psychiatry, and science. Now, from my experience as a mental health advocate, I'll stress for you the many problems with widespread claims that families, twins, and adoptees all have provided indisputable evidence psychiatric disorders and psychological traits have an important underlying genetic basis having to do with language. Though I hold no important degrees, like a bachelor degree or doctorate degree or MD degree, I have just self-examined the implications of genetic theories on mental disorders, and how such theories, in addition to being based on a very weak evidence of diverting society's attention from a need to change or eliminate social and other environmental conditions that cause the human suffering and the dysfunctions. Now, I should say that since being hospitalized in 1999, I've explored these and other issues in numerous books and articles, and you can find a small list of what I'm describing on my website, which is www.anangelstestimony.com. That's anangelstestimony.com, and it's spelled ANGELSTESTIMONY.com. In psychiatry and in science, the search for genes has been a ongoing search, and it's for decades. And despite sensational media reports of alleged gene discoveries, most such discoveries have not yet been replicated. Engage in general curiosity, sensibleness, community awareness surrounding mental health and spirituality. I plan to discuss the paradigm-shattering implications of mental health failures in the context of larger issues such as the negative labeling of human suffering and abnormal behavior, and the role of the drug companies in promoting biological and genetic theories of mental disorder that's basically catered to them. A large study in inherited research into theories in psychiatry and psychology occurs in the outlook of ongoing failures to uncover genes at a molecular level for the major psychiatric disorders as well as psychological traits having to do with the IQ and personality. This leads me to some important insights. Similar to having a conversations with God, a direct conversation with God, unlike you know how the pastors and the preachers in the church, they have their way of having a direct conversation with God. But I asked, on a personal level, could the medical description of schizophrenia sort of be the same experience? And when you read my manuscript, if you were to contact me via email or put in a request or something like that, or if I ever get it published, which I'm hoping to, that's the question I want you to keep in mind, as to whether or not schizophrenia can be an uncommon conversations with God. And to get the full benefit of what I'm describing, you have to erase, like a blackboard, all that you think you know about schizophrenia. As if it was in your mind, just erase everything that you know, that people have told you, that you've heard about, and just sort of, for a few minutes and just listening to this message, just erase all that you know about schizophrenia. Again, a little bit about myself. I'm a black man, and I'm pleased to have the opportunity to be part of a peer-to-peer movement for the past 13 years. And basically the peer-to-peer, otherwise known as the psychiatric movement, is broadly known as consumer survivors, ex-patient movement, and it's mixed in with a connection of people who are either currently accessing mental health services, known as consumers or service users, or those who consider themselves of interventions by psychiatry, who are sometimes admitted against their will or identify themselves as ex-patients in the mental health services. Basically, I'm coming out. I'm not coming out in a gay format or anything like that, out of the closet, but when it comes down to mental health, you know, there's this new thing that's going around, coming out of the shadows, so to speak. So in my way, I'm sort of coming out, and I figured that if actress Glenn Close and her sister Jessie Close, who suffers from bipolar, can come out to publicly discuss the illness and bring change to mind through their organization, then I can do the same thing also. I can help bring change to mind regarding schizophrenia, the language. Now, if you want to check out Bring Change to Mind, it's an organization, and it's with the same name, Bring Change, only it's a number 2 and mind.org, and you can get some information there in regards to what's going on. I'm a person living with schizophrenia-like symptoms. And schizophrenia, this is a word that in itself evokes a lot of fear and a lot of shame, all the way from our religious and cultural beliefs to the evidence of violent crimes that tend to arise from dealing with conditions, unfortunately. On an intimate level, most of society has an underlying stigma associated with schizophrenia and other mentally related tragedies. You may have witnessed firsthand how devastating these debilitating disease can be, from a family member's affliction, a celebrity's bizarre behavior, to a friend's turmoil, to even a stranger battling the condition. In an article by Kathleen Syllabus, Bring Change, well actually it was bring mental illness out of the shadows, is what it's called. And I'm going to read to you a quote that I thought was pretty interesting. It was posted in USA Today on February 4th, 2013, and she said, "How often we fail to recognize the sign of mental illness, especially in the young people. And when we do see those signs, our first reaction is often to not reach out, but to turn and run away." She also said that this is a culture we all contribute to, and it's one that all of us, community leaders, teachers, pastors, health providers, parents, neighbors, and friends, need to help change if we want to reduce the tragic burden of untreated mental health condition. The big question is, are you willing to? In regards to bringing change to mind, have you ever been grounded by a parent in such a way where it helps you bring change to mind in regards to a behavior? For example, if you did something, if a little kid did something bad in school or something like that, and they get grounded and they either have to stay in the corner for a few minutes or not go outside or something like that. Well, in that same regard, I feel like I'm grounded, and the way that I'm grounded is the fact that I don't have the means, and it's not that I did anything wrong, because I'm 42 years old right now, and I'm way past being able, the age of getting grounded, but grounded in a spiritual sense, where I'm grounded to change my personal behavior or attitude about schizophrenia and other mental disorders to where it's something more positive, and try to share that message with other people. And I know it's hard for people to understand that, accept that, entertain that. And again, I'm going to ask that you pretend all that you know about schizophrenia and other psychological and mental disorders. You take take whatever you know of that and just erase that while you're listening to this message. But going back to what I was saying about being grounded is, I feel like that's where I'm at now, and having to do this assignment. A friend of mine, she calls it an assignment that I've been working on, and for me to give it my full attention, I sort of have to eliminate the distractions that I've been dealing with, whether it's going to school, because I take classes for business management, whether it's working on a part-time or a full-time job, or too much getting into social activities and distraction, anything that's going to take my attention away from working on this project, this assignment, will be distracting me from it. So I'm grounded in the sense that I need to stay focused to it. And I'm grounded here. I live in my little small 2-bedroom apartment. My girlfriend and our little pet Doberman pinscher named Rocky. He's a trip. And I'm here with my camera, my laptop, my manuscript, and basically having no financial means to do anything else but to work on this project. And it's not about me doing something to sort of improve my situation or my life. As in, like I said, how a lot of people are out there about, what they're going to do with their life, what they want to accomplish. It's not about doing anything that's going to bring me sort of material wealth in a sense, but it's about me being something, and what I have to be, again, has to do with focusing strictly on the message or the insights that are coming to me in regards to schizophrenia and things like that. And I hope, I pray, I should have timed this to see how much time it's taken me to do this, but this is my first sort of, I did the intro last night, and today I forgot to sort of do a date stamp. Today is February 28th, Thursday, and I have to remember for my other recordings to do a date stamp so I can keep track of them myself. And I have to tell you that, you know, initially I didn't really feel like doing this because I was starting to lose interest. I'm starting to lose, starting to lose focus on, you know, whether this is going to accomplish anything, how people are going to view me, you know, if I'm going to sound totally off the wall and crazy when listening back to this. Am I making schizophrenia worse than it is, in the sense that, you know, I do sound off the wall and I don't know what I'm talking about? Those were some of the fears that that I have right now in regards to recording this message, and I just wanted to share my honesty about that, because I do have my doubts, I do have my fears, I do have my concern, and I don't want to paint this situation as a rosy walk in the park, you know, everything is all hunky-dory and everything like that. No, because when it comes down to schizophrenia, it's a serious psychological mental disorder, and if you have to take your medication, and this does not only have to do with schizophrenia. I'm also talking about bipolar and depression or any other category of illness that may be affecting you. You know, to stay on your medication, as I do. I currently take my medication, and I also take sleep medication to help me when I can't sleep, because I have so much thoughts on my mind. And so I just want to encourage you and advise you that what I'm discussing, you know, isn't something, it's not a pretty picture of what I'm trying to paint. You know, if you go into the psych ward of a hospital, you know, you would see a lot of troubled souls, I would say, and I'll talk more about that later on in the message. You know, my insights in regards to what's happening with them, and see again if I can sort of help them. Help them in the sense of helping myself, because I'm also plagued with this issue. But just, you know, putting this out there and getting people's opinion, and hopefully getting others to sort of buy into the idea that schizophrenia is a language, and though it's an uncommon language, it's one that is manifesting itself through the human person, through the human being. And I'm going to talk more about how that happens in the upcoming segments of these videos. Alright, and just to explain, I'm going to probably just, you're not going to really see me, you're probably just going to hear my voice, only because I guess I'm a little camera shy. Well, I'm not really camera shy, but I saw myself on the camera the other day, and my eyes looked weird, and I just don't want that to be something that people are distracted by and say, why is his eyes rolling back in his head, and he looks like he's schizophrenic anyway. You know, he looks dangerous. So so to kind of keep that off the camera, I'm gonna just do the recording. You'll probably just hear my voice, and most of the time I'll have the camera just pointed at my clock up there, and right now it's 10:50, and I'm going to close off this segment of this recording in saying something that's inside the clock. Actually, there's a message in there. It says, nature is perfection and beauty. It is the creation of our Lord. I don't know if that's a scriptural voice, scriptural message, but I'll repeat it. Nature is perfection and beauty. It is the creation of our Lord. And I'm going to end this segment of Schizophrenia, the language, and look for your comments. I'm going to probably be posting this on YouTube or Facebook, where I tend to do a lot of my interactions with social media, and just I look forward to getting your feedback. You know, give it some positive feedback or whatever you like to share. I'm open to listen, and I'll talk to you soon.